Three, two, one, and we're live. What's up, guys? Marcin here, and it's Thursday, and used to be 12. Now it's kind of all over the place, but looks like 1-ish, 2 o'clock is not overlapping with anything else. So this actually may be our new time, I hope. This way it's more predictable. But why am I here? I'm Marcin. I've been doing photography for the last 18 years, and we're here to talk about building photography business. So, like, what exactly are we going to talk about? There's actually multiple components. Like, typically when people think photography business, they think camera editing client. That's it. It's like, great. That's only portion of it, right? But there is stuff behind the curtain, as I call it, that you need to be aware of. Those things are like your brand, your content strategy if you're going organic. There is business component because it's pricing, because it's in-person sales. Maybe you need to know how to sell it. You're really trying to figure out kind of where are you falling on a map. And there's no one single model on how to do it. There's multiple ways you can do it depending on your expectations. Maybe you want to do it part-time. Maybe you want to do it as a side gig. Maybe you're just interested in making a couple $100. Maybe you want to make a couple thousand a month. Like, depending on where you want to be, the strategy will change. For me personally, when I started, it was a side gig. I said, hey, if I can cash in $2,000 or $3,000 couple times a year, like that's a huge win, right? So that was my initial goal, and things take off like pretty quickly once you start gaining traction. The only problem is that gaining traction takes time, and I'm here to save you that time, because it takes a long time to like figure out, go, fail, do it again, go, fail, do it again. And like, failure is part of this game. You're going to try to like run Facebook ad. This is what we're going to talk about today. Or you're going to, I don't know, take, it's a lighting configuration or something. It's like, oh, that's a mess. So that's inevitable. Like, you only learn from failures. Like, if you're winning, you don't know what's actually not working, right? So that's exactly what I'm here to help you guys with, to cut that time and to try to lay out the sort of foundation blueprint for you to follow. If you're on YouTube right now, one thing that I always mention, there is a school community I'm putting together, first 100 people. There's no paywall, nothing. And I will be laying out 3 layers of information. One is where you can actually just jump in and you are able to generate income with your photography. So it's absolutely free. There's no charge, no paywall, nothing. You go in there and it's almost like 3 buckets: high level, mental barriers. There's the camera stuff, the lenses, the editing, the client interaction, contracts, everything that you need to like start making money. And then if it's something that you kind of like resonate with, then we can talk about those like other things that are behind the curtain. And then level 3 is for those of you guys that are like really serious about it. I always say, when somebody's asking me like, who is it for? It's like for somebody that's trying to make like over 25K a year. Then we jump to like level 3, and there's options in like hopping on calls, doing group things and whatever. So that's just an open invite. Feel free if that's something that you're interested in. This is the address, proimageacademy.com/school. And I think, and if you're a little lazy, you can scan the QR code. The QR code also will not only take you to school, but it will also allow you to contact me via DM. If you have any questions, if you're stuck, if there's like one thing where you're like, how do I do that? Just DM me right on Facebook. I'm usually there. So if I don't respond, during the day, then I usually, do a catch up in the afternoon. So don't hesitate. That's why it's listed there. So now you guys know, I did mention, if you were paying attention, what is it that we're talking about today. And today we are talking about Facebook ads. And I'm not running through a tactical, like a click by click what to do, but there's something you need to understand before you actually start running Facebook ads. A lot of people dump money on Facebook ads thinking they have this strategy that I've tried in the past and failed miserably. And you don't really need to waste money if you only listen for about half an hour, because I don't think it's going to take us longer to go through this material. And this way you will understand how to drive traffic through a Facebook ad, through like a sort of freebie promotion or some sort of a discount. A lot of people advertise in a way they think is right, but it's totally wrong. And then we have to talk about the right way and what do you do after. So those are the steps I'm covering. We don't have enough time in one episode to cover tactics and like do the publishing and show you guys how to like do creatives and set up campaigns and whatever. So again, if that's something of your interest, hop into the school community. Link is below, and we can talk about the details. Here, I always have slides for you just to introduce the topic, just so you guys understand what the concept is about. And I will switch over as soon as I can get my little clicker here. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can see the slides. So Facebook ads, I called it a primer just because this is the starting point. This is what folks are missing. They're jumping immediately into like, first of all, I'm going to say this: boosting posts, running an ad. Is it the same thing? No. You're going to get less. You're going to get less from boosting a post versus running an ad. Ads are intentional. It's Facebook assumes that you kind of know what you're doing there. It actually takes a little bit of skill to run an ad. Boosting posts, anybody can boost a post, and because everybody is boosting a post and wasting money, not wasting because it will go to more people, but you're competing with a lot of people that are just boosting a post because they don't want to touch the ad manager. So we've answered that question, and I always try to start with like a generic, just to lay the foundation, high level, so you understand where we are. So a proven framework for converting strangers into paying photography clients, starting with ads. And I always say we can reach out. There's only like, if you're just on your own, which 90% of the folks that I deal with, that I get to work with, that I train, they're usually working on their own. There's no second, third, fourth person. There's no office person that deals with clients. There's no usually second photographer. Well, maybe just somebody that like comes in, shows up for like maybe weddings or something bigger. So there's like additional coverage, but not like another full-time person or something. So if you're on your own, you can run leads, meaning, get your potential candidates in 4 different ways. And the 4 different ways is there is something that we call the warm clients, and there's something that we call cold clients. Cold clients are people that never heard about you. They don't know you exist. They don't necessarily understand how your services work. They don't understand what products you offer. They're totally green. Maybe that's a better term, right? So, but in business marketing terms, we call them cold clients, right? Because they're unaware. On the other hand, hot client is somebody that wants to buy like right now. They know who you are. They know what you offer. They've seen your work. They're ready to book and sign a contract. But a lot of times we deal with folks that are sort of like warm clients, right? They're not necessarily ready to buy. They know what's going on, and this is who we are after. So not necessarily about cold leads. We're always focusing on warm leads, or we're trying to convert cold leads into warm leads or hot leads. So that's really what this game is about. And when you're on your own, there's 4 ways to do it. When it comes to warm leads, it's usually just your friends, your neighbors, your friends, people that you know, people that you interact with on a daily basis. And those people already know you, like you, and trust you, kind of, right? So those are your warm leads because they know who you are. You're not a stranger. You're not a solar panel guy knocking on a door. So it's like they at least know who you are. So this is sort of like a one-on-one warm lead, right? Somebody that you approach them, you say, hey, listen, I never ask directly, like, do you want to buy? I always say, hey, I have this special offer. Do you know somebody that may be interested? Which, very often they say, I do, but I also want one. so that's one way to do it. And the other way to do it with warm leads is one-to-many. This is when you go onto your Facebook profile and you post content, right? Because you post one content, it's just you. Many people see your content, right? So that's more of like an organic thing on your profile. Now, cold leads. You can also do one-to-one cold leads, which is you're basically doing an outreach. You're contacting, you're reaching out to somebody you don't know. Maybe you're scanning through bridal Facebook groups. For example, you see somebody's getting married, you're reaching out. You don't know the person, cold lead. You're introducing yourself, you start the conversation. You can get business this way, right? On the other hand, when it's one too many cold leads, now it's people you don't know, and you're doing this with ads. And this is exactly what we're going to talk about here in this session. So today's focus: making ads work for your studio. I said warm leads, friends, referrals, content. Oh, referrals could also be somebody that you don't know, but like your client knows. Which this is word of mouth kind of thing, automatically, because that person, this cold lead, knows your friend. It's, through extension, a warm lead. Cold lead, outbound, outreach, or ads. I already covered that. So this is what I'm covering on this slide. And then we're hopping over to the next one here. And here it's my story, too many free shoots. So when I discovered Facebook ads, I did the same mistake everybody does, which is basically like, think of, for those of you that haven't, I'm assuming if you're watching this minute 15, maybe this is first time you're considering running Facebook ads, or maybe you have tried and failed. But the thing is, very conventional way of running ads, it's like, hey, here's my business. It's usually your smiling face, your number, your website, or something, and like something about your services. Of course, you're the best in town, of course, the best quality service. And that's what we do. So that's why I figured I would try, and I tried and I failed. And then I tried again and I failed. And you would imagine I would like learn a lesson right after 2 times. And unfortunately, I think I ran it like 2 more times. Not a large budget, probably a couple $100, and failed. And I'm like, whoa, Facebook ads are not working. Like, Jesus, what a moron. Like, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads daily and weekly, right? And here I am, right? A pro trying for the first time saying Facebook ads are not working. That's simply not true. It's just I'm not working because I don't know how to do it right. So once we go through this sort of mental kink in the hose, it's like, okay, all right. So I'm probably doing something wrong, right? What else can I do? So I basically, for the very first few times, I ran it with just like my business information. I'm like, oh, this is not working. And then I stopped for a while, and then second time I started kind of looking at what other people were doing, and I'm like, oh, they're like offering something, and like I saw a lot of people being successful, like just kind of hearing the stories, right? You never know what's true, by the way, but I heard that they are doing pretty decent, like a good turnaround, and I'm like, oh, they're starting with free sessions, like free engagement sessions, and to be honest, that model is working, but there's one component that's hidden, and if you don't know it exists, you're setting yourself up for failure, or a lot of work, which is the same as failure, because you're gonna end up shooting a lot of free sessions and not getting a lot of money in. So there's important step that we can't forget, and that's something I'm going to talk about here in a second. But the slide says, too many free shoots, because that was the case with me when I started with the free shoots. So the ad started actually working, like people were interested, but I was attracting wrong client. I was attracting freebie seekers, right? That didn't want to move or advance to the next level, which is not something we want. Obviously, we want client to move on with the next thing. In my case, I didn't mind doing the engagement session for free because I knew that I could, add that extra money or whatever, ask in the final price for, let's say, the wedding. And even if not, like, even if I lost that, let's say $350 charge for the engagement, it's still charging $34 for the wedding, like, still worth it, right? It's almost like shooting at a discount. But if that means business versus no business, like at the stage where I was totally okay with it. So what went wrong? Ran ads without a system because I had no idea one existed. I just ran and started talking to people. Started booking people. So when they reached out to me for a freebie, I would just book them and shoot and hope. And hope is never a good business strategy. Give away too many free sessions, and paying clients were rare. There were some paying clients, but like I said, the model worked. It's just that there's a better way to do it. The lesson: generosity without structure doesn't build a business. Free sessions need a clear purpose and filter. Filter is the important word here. Without a process, ads drain your time and your wallet because you're shooting a lot, you're spending a lot of money, and then people buy in the end, and then the profit margin is not phenomenal. So that's that. And on the next slide, why most photography ads fail. Excuse me, guys. I already mentioned this a little bit. Just give me 1 second. Okay. There's this hire me ads and the outcome focus ads, and nobody scrolling Instagram or Facebook cares that you need bookings, right? Because in the end, like, the ad is like, hey, I'm here, I need you to book with me, and people don't care. Like, people just don't care. People care about what they care about, which is themselves. Same as you care about yourself, people care about themselves. And it's like, unless there's something that's attracting their attention, nobody cares that you need clients, right? I mean, I know I'm kind of harsh around the edges here, but I prefer this way of sort of explaining and sharing this information, because the quicker we go through this hump and jump over that wall, the sooner we're going to be successful. So first, like I said, a lot of folks, what I see they do is they put out those hire me ads, talk about a photographer's need, and they simply get ignored. Not surprisingly. And then outcome focused ads talk about clients' results, and they do get responses. Clients don't buy photography, they buy beautiful memories and experiences. So, because that's also another thing that I see, like, people mention equipment and lighting equipment and special studios, and clients don't really care. They care about the destination, the transformation, like, from them regular, Jane and Joe, to like beautiful, let's say, bride and groom, right? Or from people that are busy with kids every day to like awesome, like a awesome photo on a wall of their family. So they're looking at the sort of like, to get the final product. They don't care about the process, the equipment, or even sometimes you, but like, that's really what we kind of where we need to get them. And I always laugh. I always say, hey, Mercedes commercials never talk about a vehicle. They always show the Christmas Eve and family pulling into the house, right, with the family, because it's all about emotions. It's all about what you get with the vehicle. It's not about the vehicle, right? I was just watching Sea-Doo commercial the other day, and literally, guys, like, I was blown away, because I think total time of seeing a Sea-Doo in a commercial, right, the jet ski, was maybe total of like 4 seconds in like a 25-second commercial. The rest of it is like folks grilling, kids smiling, people jumping off jet skis, kids in the water, mom smiling, and like, it's all emotions. You have to remember, right? So when you're addressing your client, you want to stay away from talking about yourself. You want to talk about what is it that they need. And if you flag something that's like, hey, here's an opportunity for you to participate or win a free session, right? Now you have their attention, right? Because if they're actually looking for somebody like that, they will pay attention. It's like, oh, well, I'm looking for a photographer. Like, we're about to hire somebody. Maybe they're already considering somebody, and like, here's this deal for like a free one, right? And there's really no commitment. You're not selling anything. You're not telling them to book a wedding with you. You're basically just saying, hey, we offer quality service. We're running this special with a free thing. And if you're interested, register. And they register, and they become part of your sort of like little ecosystem with the email, because they have to register. And now you just started like a totally brand new opportunity, right? So this is beginning of the journey. The ad is not like show and book. The ad is show and now let's talk. So this is really the reframe. I said on the side here, you guys see it says fail first attempt in learning. Just something to remember, that even if you run and it fails, let's say you even attempting to do what I'm saying, and like you post a photo and like it didn't work, try another photo. Try at least 5. I think it's a fair thing to say that like when you're trying, make sure you try at least 3, 4, or 5, because if one doesn't hit, something will definitely resonate with people. So you have to actually try, and failure is part of that deal. The next thing here is the incentive strategy. A free engagement session isn't a discount. So as I said, like you don't want to be putting discounts. A lot of people say, I'm going to discount, like especially with photography. Like when something is like heavily discounted, do you immediately think quality? No. Like it can't be like you don't see Ferrari cars on a discount. Like they sell for what they sell. It's, limited quality. And by the way, you are also limited quality because it's just you, I'm assuming. So if somebody wants to buy with you and your photography is great, then you shouldn't be discounting it, right? Or at least sending out the message. When we hear discounts, it's usually something, something cheap. So free engagement session isn't a discount. It's an experience worth saying yes to. Like, why not? They have nothing to lose. They have something that they can win. And like, hey, just, provide us with your email. We're going to enter you for the, so you could have a opportunity to win this free session. Give people a compelling reason to respond before asking for a dime. So like, you're not even asking them to buy anything, not the big package, not the wedding, not the engagement. You're basically saying, hey, for entering the email, like, would you like the opportunity to win a free session? For most people, it's a yes. Like if you're in the market of looking for a photographer, they'll definitely say yes, right? And free experiences create discounts. Going back, sorry, I'm reading the slide. It says discounts feel cheap, attract bargain hunters. Free experiences create desire, attract invested clients. And you're not mentioning, like I said, any sort of like cheap labor. So that's that. And then what happens after the ad? I said the ad is just the entry point. Now they have a reason to interact with you. They usually submit their entry. And the ad is just the door. The real work starts in a conversation. You reach out to them. You have their contact information. Sometimes folks ask, like, do I need to do a lead form? You can. Can you send them to Messenger? You can. Again, remember, like you gotta try some things. If you want to do, usually people want to do the form because they don't want to deal with people. But the thing is, at the very beginning, if you're sending it to your Messenger, you're going to get a lot of feedback. You're going to hear people asking same questions, and because you're going to hear the same question over and over and over again, then you can create a form, because the form that has that question embedded, right? So it's actually easier, better for you to like try to run it to your DM. But if you get too many inquiries and people and just not good quality leads, then I would say put the form in place. Depends on the area too. If you don't have a lot of traction at the beginning, talk to them. If you have overwhelming response, put a lead form in place. So this way they fill it out and you can kind of filter them then. So you're not contacting, there's a difference if 10 people call you and difference when there's 110 people, right? So if you're dealing with 110, I would like to have a filter in place to go through and just make sure there's questions that you can ask, and we'll talk about it later. But that's just one caveat that I need to include. So Messenger chat, usually something quick like, hey, listen, got your entry, super excited. You need to get them on the call. That's the key, right? If you don't have it in the lead form, even if it's the lead form, you're still going to have to talk to them. So first Messenger chat or the lead form, and then the call or the Zoom call. And after you go through the Zoom call, that's where you filter them or qualify them. You can then decide whether you're going to be booking the client or not. The goal isn't just responses, it's finding the right people. Every step filters and qualifies. Very, very important. I'm going to read it again. Every step filters and qualifies your people. You don't just take people and do sessions with them. You got to make sure that you're talking to the right folks. All right, next is the filtering process. The filtering process. it's signs of serious client. So I mentioned there's this like pre-filtering qualification thing in place, and it, in terms of like, well, who is the serious, like who do we filter for? These folks will usually come in, and when you're on a call with them, which I talk specifically in the school community, um, you they usually know the timing, right? So freebie seekers would be somebody like, oh, free session, let's do it. I mean, they have no plans for weddings or anything. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it's free. Why not do it, right? Like anybody dating can come and say, hey, right? But if you're talking about timing and like, where's the reception? Where's the ceremony? Automatically people will filter themselves out because they don't have it. So that will be one signal. The occasion also, right? Like I said, wedding. If because couple coming in doesn't mean they are automatically getting married. It's like, oh, it's an engagement session, but like that doesn't prevent anybody from taking advantage of the offer and just taking some photos. Final products, you got to talk to them sort of in from the angle of the final product. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about this later. And then comfortable budget range, when you start talking about budget and they came in because it's free and they're just freebie seekers. Whenever you're mentioning budget or money, like normal couple will tell you, like if they're getting married and if they're planning on hiring a photographer, maybe they already have like some people that they have looked at. It's just they were drawn by your Facebook ad, and it's like, hey, why don't we just check out this guy, right? But they usually have a budget in mind. They usually know what they're going to be spending on photographer, where freebie seekers don't talk about budgets and money. So it's a good repellent for these folks. And then show, don't just tell. When you're on a call with them, I always, if I only have an opportunity, I like to get together with them, but I also do it here. When they get together, I'm not just talking, I'm getting them engaged. When I talk about like products, there's this thing you receive in the end of your engagement session. It could look like this, and I show them an album or I show them an acrylic. What does that look like? Can I pull something to show you guys? Let's see. So for example, when I'm talking to them, even on the call, I can show them like a nice suede album, right? This is what you would be getting with an album, maybe with a USB thing. Not this format. This is big. This is a normal, typical wedding album. I have another acrylic that's too big to pull, but I show them the photos. I show them a Canva. I show them something printed. So when they come and talk, I usually frame it so that the expectation is that they are buying something. So yes, session is free, but the expectation is for something, right? And when they see it, when they touch it in person, like you automatically, I can tell you, like over time, you'll be able to tell who's buying and who's not buying, because it's like people that know that they're there just for the free session, like they almost, I don't know, there's something internal. It's probably our psychology. They almost avoid the product, right? So those are all great questions, for them to like filter them out. Um, anything did I leave anything on this slide? Show, don't just tell, people buy what they can visualize, like the products I mentioned. Show physical products, even on Zoom, albums, tactile emotion, heirloom quality, canvases, acrylics, wall art clients can picture in their home. Yeah. So bottom line, show them stuff. That's really how I would summarize it. Why this process still works. No system guarantees every lead converts, and that's true. You may still get free sessions where people and they may have good intentions. They may want to hire you. They do an engagement session, and I don't know, maybe something didn't work out. Maybe they didn't like the style, which is good because let's say you deliver the photos and like they had good intentions. They didn't really know what to expect, but they got the photos. And there's still something like a style mismatch. You don't want to be doing wedding and mismatching them on style and delivering something they're going to be unhappy with. So like if you have to, if let's say out of 10 clients, let's say 100 clients reach out, potential clients, you book 7 and you do 3 sessions free, it's probably okay, right? Because Like for whatever reason, those are usually, from my experience, I got to tell you, I had maybe, couple examples here and there where I actually, somebody did an interview with me and I said, you know what, it's my sort of internal thermostat was telling me everything to like not to book, because all signs were like something with a style, or they were unhappy with how the session went, or maybe they were too demanding, maybe they saw things differently, maybe they wanted me to replicate somebody else's work. And like, then over time I learned, when there is a problem and friction, leave it, it's okay. Give them the photos, because the nice thing is, if you treat people this way, they eventually will come back to you, and if they don't book, they will recommend other people. Remember, like, it's like, people actually appreciate when you treat them the right way. And it's important. So it's like, just be open, be honest, be transparent. If there's, like I said, 2, 3, 4 couples that will not book, it's fine. You're still booking 7, 6, 8 other clients, and that's really where the money is. Control, you decide who gets your time. In the end, it's a thing where, like, you say, hey, win free session, but in the end, you get to decide who wins the session, right? So, and you're basically doing the drawing not from everybody that submitted their entry, but from those people that you qualified, right? So you can still do the drawing, between the people. One person wins, but like, remember, you qualified 10 people. One person, like, in the end, you can say one person only does the session. If you want to, you can control it. You can do 2, 3. If you have a hot client that's like, they're almost, some clients come in, they're like, they see your work, they saw the ad, like, oh my God, like, we want to work with you. The session is like a separate, but like, we're really interested. And then you can decide, are they getting, a free session, or you can give them a free session if that's what's going to take them kind of, over the wall, over the fence. If not, you can just do a drawing on one, and you still had an interaction with a lot of clients. So you can then kind of gauge and control how many free sessions you want to do, depending on what your goals are, how aggressive you want to be, how much time you have, how important that is to you. And depending on who the client is, you may offer free session just because you care about the business connection, or just family connection, or maybe you see that it's going to be like a higher package wedding booking. Throw in the engagement session for free, because they're gonna come back with quality leads later. Consistency, it's pretty cool, because repeatable steps, predictable results. You can rerun the same thing, qualify, shoot, and then run the ad, qualify, and shoot. And like, in 1 year, you can actually get a lot of clients this way. Confidence, no more guessing. You have a filter, so it's like, it's not a hope. You're not just shooting for free, getting annoyed. You know who you're working with. You can filter, and you can filter as much as you want to. Like, if you, out of 10 clients you talk to, if you're like, no, this one is definitely solid, or those 2 are solid, give them both free session and just continue on, sell them higher packages, and just do it this way. So there's no one way to do it, but it's more of a process that you have to follow. And then, better than giving away free session with no strategy and no path to revenue. Yeah, so that's totally true. It works. For your next steps, you would have to refine your ad messaging. So remember, change it just from your face, your phone, from your website to something that client cares about. Show them the experience. Show them some samples. Tell them it's a free session. Some photographers do free session and like $250 off the wedding. Some do no free session, but like $500, win $500 off of your wedding package. Once you gain traction and you're going and you're looking for less leads, you can then kind of gauge, turn the knobs to like, I'm not doing free sessions anymore. I will actually, and this is exactly what I did too. So I started giving them like substantial discount, and less of a discount, then just ad, and like eventually it's just referrals. And again, depends on where you want to be. If you want to build, a humongous studio with 10 photographers working for you, you're looking for a different strategy. I'm talking to folks that are like working by themselves. Maybe they have an assistant, maybe not. So refine the ad messaging, lead with client's outcome, not your service. Practice the conversation, run through messenger scripts and phone call flow. Every sales guy has a sales script. And I'm not saying it should be scripted word for word, which it should be. But but have something in place. Understand at least the main points you're going to be discussing. Don't go into a conversation with clients and talk about nonsense. Like a lot of photographers make this mistake, and I don't want you to be one of them. Grab the resources. The qualification questions and templates are inside the school community. I'll put them there. Again, if you haven't seen this at the beginning of the recording, here's the QR code, here's the link, proimageacademy.com/school. You can actually grab it from there. Like if you're like, but what's the question I'm asking? Like what kind of thing I'm looking for? I will be not only including the files, but I will be talking about it in the community as well. So hop on, join us if that's of interest to you and benefit to you. The system works when you work the system. Start your next ad with intention. This stuff works. When you're online looking for photographers, you'll see a lot of examples. So you can even, I'm not saying copy, but see what other people are doing and try to get close. And that's really what you guys need to do to get your clients through the door when you're starting and you're experimenting with ads. Don't go the conventional route. Go this route because it works. That was it for today. That was pretty easy. If you have any questions, guys, as always, leave comments. I would always appreciate the thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithms, the YouTube gods, to propagate the video. This is it for today. Don't have a topic for next week, as always, but we're going to be covering... I don't know what we're going to be covering. If I get a good question, I'll tackle that. Actually, I think, if I remember the name correctly, John was asking about pricing and pixie set. That's actually a good one because this question comes up a lot of times, and there's actually a super easy fix. So to John and to the rest of you, if you're interested in hearing that, that's probably something I can be tackling next week. This is it, guys. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I'll see you next Thursday at about 1 or 2 p.m. All right, later. Bye.